You might end up on the edit tab for any number of reasons. Somewhere along the way, you might eventually just need to edit something that exists in your library. You're going to be met with a blank page by default. You can start typing in some game you want to edit. So for instance, let's say we look up Blasphemous. We'll notice that the entry here, so we own it on Steam and Nintendo, both get listed. And for Nintendo, the exporter didn't make the distinction for console. So let's say you wanted to add that in, right? So all you're going to have to do is we provide a couple of standard fields that most things will probably have data for that you can fill in. And if it doesn't currently have data for one of these fields, it's just going to start out with an NA. And you can apply whatever information you want. So let's say switch, and then you have two options here. So you can hit the enter key on your keyboard, or you can click the save changes button. Both of them send the data exactly the same. And we can see up here, if I hit enter, we get field updated successfully down there, and we can see that it instantly refreshes up here with console switch. So you can do this with existing stuff too. So let's say, just for example, this is some game in the next couple of years and you got it, it immediately works on the Switch 2 now or something, and you wanted to update it. You can add Switch 2, and you can edit existing fields. So you can add non-existing fields, you can also edit existing fields. Certain fields, like for instance the title, all the titles throughout the program are all enclosed in quotes. Not every field is this way, but the titles are this way. So if you edit the entry here for the title and don't put it in quotes, let's say, there's really no example where you would modify the title in this nature, but I'm just going to use it as an example so you can all see how it works. If we do that, it'll auto append the quotes around it. And then if we go to edit it again, we can see that it knows that the quotes are there this time. So, we can put that back. And each time we're doing this, we're getting updates. So there's also a box down here for the custom fields and custom values. And so that's stuff that we didn't account for. So none of these, maybe something extra that maybe you track cost, and that's important to you and you've been wanting to maintain that. You could enter down here, cost, and however you type it in this box is how it's going to be displayed. Internally, it'll get normalized to all lowercase, but however you type it here is how it'll actually display on the bar and in the data, how you'll actually see it. So if you capitalize it, you don't capitalize it, however it is that you want to store that, that's how it'll save. And then let's say you paid, I don't know, $5.99 for this. You can hit enter and you'll see custom field updated successfully. So you don't necessarily have to have a value selected in both, but you can have something in here and you can say, well, let's add an hours played at 25 hours. And I also want to change this transaction type here to eShop or something like that, right? You can send them both, and it just, whatever message you're going to get down here just corresponds to which one you happen to press enter on. So if you had this highlighted, you'd see the message for that. If you had this highlighted, but we can see that we added both the hours played and the transaction type, both instantly refresh either way. And the only other thing left on this page to really talk about is this delete safety. So basically what this is, if you hover over the little question mark, it'll explain what it is. But let's say you wanted to delete some game. So with this box checked, if you hit delete, you're going to get this confirmation, right? And you can say, no, I don't want to continue. Or maybe you do, maybe you don't. Let's say yes, and it'll delete an instant refresh, right? So to show you what it looks like if it's unchecked, it's not going to ask you, it's just going to go through. You're going to say game deleted without confirmation. It is worth mentioning that although the list starts empty, if you backspace out of some entry, you're going to be able to see the full list. Similarly, if you just enter the blank list and hit space one time, you'll also see the full list. It's just by default, it doesn't have a value. And that is the edit page.